Welcome to Heart of Economy. Today, we are diving into one of the most striking forecasts for 2025. Michael Hartnett, Bank of America's chief investment strategist, says the era of ABB and ABC traders is over, and a new era has begun, the ABD trade. But what does this really mean? Is it a sign of new opportunities for investors or the warning of another storm ahead? Let's break it all down together. Let's start with Michael Hartnett himself. Hartnett is not just another strategist. He is one of Wall Street's most closely followed and most controversial voices. What makes him different is not only his forecasts, but also his ability to coin simple, memorable acronyms that define entire investment eras. Take, for example, his famous concept of big trades, which stood for bonds, international assets, and gold. At the time, many dismissed it as just another catchphrase, but what happened? Exactly those assets outperformed in the years that followed. Wall Street is often driven by herd mentality. When markets rise, everyone becomes bullish. When markets crash, everyone panics. But Hartnett swims against the current. He is often bearish when everyone else is euphoric, and optimistic when others are fearful. That contrarian approach is why people take him seriously. And here's my personal take. Hartnett is not always right, but ignoring him has historically been very costly. When he calls for a new paradigm, investors should pay attention. Now, let's unpack the two major concepts that Hartnett says are coming to an end: ABB and ABC trades. ABB, anything but bonds. This was the era when global interest rates hit record lows. Bonds provided almost no yield, and investors had little incentive to hold them, so capital flooded into equities, commodities, and even cryptocurrencies. ABB became the motto for cashing risk, while bonds were left behind. ABC, anything but cash. Then came inflation. Cash started to lose value rapidly, eroding wealth just by sitting idle. Investors rushed to put their money anywhere but cash: real estate, stocks, gold, emerging markets, you name it. Holding cash was a guaranteed loss, so ABC dominated investor psychology. But according to Hartnett, both of these eras are now over. The time of simply saying anything but bonds or anything but cash is behind us. The environment has changed. And here's my interpretation. This marks the beginning of a much more selective, disciplined investment era. The days of throwing money at everything and still winning are gone. So what comes next? Hartnett's new term, the ABD trade. Now, what does ABD stand for? While Hartnett hasn't fully laid out the details, the implication is clear. The focus is shifting back to the United States. There are several dimensions to this idea. First, the US economy remains one of the strongest in the world. Despite global turbulence, America continues to attract capital. Second, the dollar. With the Federal Reserve keeping interest rates elevated, the dollar has strengthened. A strong dollar makes US assets even more appealing to global investors. Third, US companies themselves. Think about the sectors leading the future: artificial intelligence, renewable energy, defense, and advanced technology. These are dominated by American corporations, and investors may find the best opportunities right here in the US. And my take, the ABD trade is Hartnett's way of saying, stop chasing everything everywhere. The real game is back in America. In time of chaos, investors always search for a safe haven. For 2025, Hartnett believes that safe haven is the United States itself. Why is this shift happening in 2025 specifically? Let's look at the forces at play. First, the Federal Reserve's interest rate policy. For years, cheap money fueled risk-taking, but now higher for longer rates are changing the equation. Bonds are attractive again, while riskier assets are losing their shine. Second, inflation. Despite aggressive moves by central banks, inflation hasn't fully disappeared. This uncertainty is forcing investors to rethink where they put their capital. Third, global weakness. Europe is flirting with recession. China's growth is slowing sharply, and geopolitical tensions are rising. Add the Russia-Ukraine war, energy supply risks, and fragile global supply chains, and you see why investors are nervous. The conclusion is clear. The old playbook no longer works. Investors can't simply say anything but bonds or anything but cash and expect to win. They must be far more selective. And in my opinion, the ABD trade is not just a catch-up race. It's the logical outcome of all these pressures. When the rest of the world looks shaky, investors retreat to the US. So what does this all mean for investors? Let's break it down. The risks. If you're still playing the old game, pulling into everything outside of bonds and cash, you may be in for painful losses. Markets no longer reward indiscriminate risk-taking. The opportunities. US assets could become the big winners. Tech giants leading artificial intelligence, defense contractors thriving in a world of heightened security risk, energy companies navigating the transition to renewables, and of course the US dollar itself. My personal perspective, 2025 is shaping up to be a year of divergence. The investors who fail to adapt will struggle, but those who align with the new rules of the game could find themselves in the middle of one of the most rewarding shifts in recent memory. In the end, Hartnett's message is simple. The old era is gone. ABB and ABC are dead. A new era is beginning, the ABD era. And history teaches us something important. Investors who ignore paradigm shifts often pay the highest price. Whether you agree with Hartnett or not, you cannot afford to dismiss the possibility that he is right again. My take, 2025 could be the year markets reset, and if Hartnett is correct, the key to that reset is America. So, to wrap this up, Michael Hartnett's forecast marks the end of two powerful investment eras and the start of something new. ABB and ABC trades are history. The ABD trade could define the next chapter. But what do you think? Will the ABD trade truly deliver new opportunities, or will it open the door to new risks? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, for more deep analysis of the financial world, make sure to subscribe to Heart of Economy and turn on notifications. We'll continue to bring you the most up-to-date insights and sharpest perspectives on global markets. See you in the next video.